This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, making their way to the microphones, it's Jack. It's Kenny. It's the Rock and Roll Up Podcast.
Hello, mates. Here we are.
Hello.
Back together. Rock and Roll Up. Welcome to Rock and Roll Up with Jack and Kenny.
Hello.
Unprecedented times because these boys, visuals all over the box. I don't know what.
One of these.
People. Look at that. He's got a beard. Nobody knew. All this time. A year in. Some people didn't know. You like wearing a little baseball cap, don't you? A little hat.
Oh, I've got no hair.
The shock of what's going on. He's lost his hair. Oh, look at him, little slaphead. Shaved it all off, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, the thing is that because some people might not have seen us before, they might have thought I had this hair the whole time. But I've done a big reveal.
You've done a bit. Yeah, you've done a reveal.
Now I'm feeling a little bit.
So how long's your hair been off then, mate?
It's been off a couple of days, at the weekend. It's feeling freeing, very freeing, mate. It was to here.
What, your head?
And it just went bzzz, that was that.
Close cut. That was a hell of a close shave. The first day, it was. Some say too close. I could see your brain.
You could. I had a Hannibal Lecter situation going on.
You had a sweaty head as well. You were telling me your head sweating.
I've never. Yeah, well, I guess it picks up from your hair normally, doesn't it? But goes into your hair. But when you don't have hair, it just goes down your face.
Don't have hair, don't care. This is the kind of piercing content people wanted to see on the Rock and Roll Up podcast. So, well, not only are we doing visuals, but there's some pretty awful stuff going on right now. Hence, we're not together for the classic banter. Get on the banter train. We're apart. We're hours apart, aren't we?
Hours. We're hours. How many hours are we apart? Around
60?
60.
If you walk.
If you.
Probably longer.
Travel.
3 or 4.
Travel time's away from us, isn't it?
Hard to travel.
And pretty much that's the only bad thing going on.
Yeah. So just have a great show.
Let's move on.
I guess we should talk about. I guess there is that sort of cold going around, isn't there? That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's quite bad. Yeah.
I'm playing ill-informed member of the public today on the podcast.
Okay.
I burned down a lot of 5G towers. A lot.
Yeah.
Just towels. You know, anything with a towel.
Towels.
Jenga. I'm pushing Jenga over.
Jengas.
Yeah.
I saw. Was it Eamon Holmes said something about 5G towers?
He said, "Well, you know what? I'll let him off because what he said is we shouldn't completely judge everyone for thinking about things where instead of just taking what the mainstream media pipe down your throat. Well, you know, actually,
okay.
No, actually, that's fair, Eamon. But I can't really take anything Eamon says seriously because he's sort of a giant Michelin, really, isn't he? So
the thing is, I only saw that Eamon Holmes had said something about it and assumed it was something mental.
You know what? It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't mental.
No, it was more like, well, yeah, I don't believe it, but I don't think we should attack people that do just because the mainstream media says it's wrong. Instead,
let's attack everyone who's.
Then he said hashtag burn down the World Trade Center again. I think he got confused there because, of course, I think he got.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not
sitting on that sofa for years. A lot of asbestos in that building.
But of course, there is something going on quite bad.
COVID-19.
We're just going to mention it in passing. Pretty big deal. Everything's changed, isn't it, mate?
The words of Keane. Everybody's changing, and I don't
miss a thing.
Miss a thing. I think that was how it went. Yeah.
I don't want to miss a thing. I think that was the one.
It's well, what to say? We're not doctors, except doctors of bloody good comedy. But we do have some statistics because it's a pretty scary time we're living in right now. I believe you have some numbers to reel off about the coronavirus. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's almost as though we have discussed the content we're going to speak about today before hitting record.
No, you know what I mean? Now we're on visuals, we can't hide.
Right, yeah. Because normally, I'll be honest, I'm looking up stuff on my phone the whole time whilst we're...
You're on your phone, you're taking phone calls.
Yeah. yeah.
Often.
So it's just over 2 million people worldwide infected.
Yeah.
And we're somewhere over 13,000 here in the UK. Anyone who is not from the UK, so we are on lockdown at the moment, like most of the world.
Cannot do much.
Social distancing is in place. We've been in our houses for what? Is this the 4th week?
Yeah, 3.5 weeks, I think. Yeah, 4th week. Just confirmed at least another 3 weeks. So lockdown's pretty much the same here. It's keeping apart, social distancing, limited numbers in shops. Obviously, not allowed to go and visit vulnerable people, elderly, etc. It's weird. It's unprecedented. Obviously, it's something that we never thought we'd be going through at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We're okay. We're doing okay. You know,
we're fine. Yes, thankfully we are fine. A lot of people aren't. So we it's a very sad time. But
we're going to obviously try and have a laugh today, and that's not to the detriment of people that are taking it seriously. We're not a serious podcast, so obviously we're going to have a bit of a laugh to distract people and distract ourselves from the boredom that is isolation.
It's been, it's been quite boring at points, but everyone's doing different things to keep themselves entertained, which we will be going through. A little bit of what others have been doing, what we've been doing, but how it impacts us personally. So,
obviously, because we're not going to work.
Yeah, in fact, neither of our partners or ourselves.
No, obviously we do have regular jobs outside of our content creation.
Yeah, if anyone didn't know, this doesn't pay. Shock horror.
Shock horror. It doesn't pay that much. No.
So
I was furloughed, for example. So I'm home, but I can't work from home in my other job. So
yeah,
I'm not working. I was lucky to get furloughed at full pay. Not everybody is that lucky, so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
So your partner's at home as well, teaching.
Yeah. Both our partners are working from home. I'm not working at all. I went ahead and lost my job just before coronavirus. Yeah. Now I can't get another one.
Yeah. You went, screw you guys. I'm going to get fired before I get furloughed. Jog on.
Yeah, I went ahead and got fired for getting food poisoning.
Yeah, you got told in a conspiracy of sorts from the company.
Yeah,
it was dodgy dealings, but unfortunately, you were you were booted out of the camp. Unceremoniously, which I for one was very angry about.
I for one was quite angry also.
Yeah.
In the end, I would have ended up being not furloughed because I was technically temping, although was about to go permanent. So I would have lost my job anyway. So fuck you.
Jog on. Yeah. So I'm actually in the vulnerable category. Actually.
Oh.
Because being celiac and all, which means obviously I can't eat wheat and gluten. Hold your horses. What, a dietary choice? No. Autoimmune.
No, sir. Could die.
Autoimmune disease. So it's paid off. It's paid off after all this. It's got me some time off. Back of the net.
Come on.
So, I don't want you to say, be worried for me, but maybe you should just check in a little bit more, once or twice an hour. Are you okay? How's your breathing?
Yeah, really. These days, the dietary choice of being celiac it actually doesn't really affect you in any way because you can buy it everywhere now.
Yeah. Except in the first week where everyone nicked my fucking pasta.
Oh yes, yes.
And they
I
empty
wondered if that
pizza.
was. Yeah, yeah. Your personal pasta.
It's Jack's
Hello?
free from. Don't stay out. Mum's
Yeah.
tape. Do not watch.
Yeah, yeah.
They nicked all the
But yeah, these days, being a celiac, not as hard as it used to be when we were younger, when we were mere boys playing in bands together, where the only place that we could go out for a meal together was Pizza Hut.
No. The very affordable
No, Pizza Express.
Pizza Express.
Yes.
The middle class Pizza Hut.
Yes, that's right.
Me,
so just to
Prince Andrew, the trio.
just non-sweating, and then me being a very sweaty man naturally.
Yeah, your head pouring from your head.
I just made up for me, you, and Andrew.
Yeah.
But yeah, these days not that bad, and it's come up dividends. So
in the end, it paid off. First week, people were panic buying. I couldn't get nothing. But after that, a couple of click and collects down Tesco's, whoop, swooping in, not a problem.
Yeah.
So we're home. Partners are home.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't want to be around my partner, that much." Not a problem. Just watching extra TV, really. A lot of headaches, mainly from the TV.
A lot of headaches, baby. What do you think to? Because we've got friends of ours as well at home, and their partners are home, and I've had a couple of chats with people about, well, how's it going? Any arguments? Big arguments? Is it starting to?
I'm very lucky with Danielle. It's we don't hate each other, which is unlike many of our other relationships. Good, man. Just chilling. She's still working, till 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I tend to be doing different stuff. I'm providing distractions for her. I'm a distractor. That I definitely am.
You come running in. You're doing that. You're doing that. That naked shower walk in. You're not flying.
I'm flinging it about. She's on a conference call. I'm just whacking over the head with it. Yeah. It's I'm definitely distracting her, but to be honest, she works hard enough, so it's like now you've got no excuses. Now get in the bedroom.
Get a lot of sex going on.
I'd say too much. It's
too much.
I can't wait for this to be over. Truth be told, I'm not.
It might fall off.
Yeah, exactly.
The first week was a little bit tough for us, but. We've got through it, and things are fine now.
That's the thing. I feel bad for a shanty living with a domestic abuser. It is hard,
Right.
Yeah.
Good. As you can see.
Exactly. Yeah, you got a wife beater on under that shirt.
That's very true. Under this quite loud.
He's not a domestic abuser.
No.
You just get that. It's more verbal. With him.
Yeah, more verbal. You slag, I hate you. Yeah. You'll never amount to anything. Never leave me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll kill you. That kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
Just really the classic beats.
How he wooed her, in a sense. So we're home, which means we can't meet up to do the podcast. So things have been delayed. There's perhaps a loss of audio clarity because we are over.
Almost certainly.
We are over Zoom. Hashtag Zoom. Not sponsored. There are other great video conferencing tools out there that really aren't as good as Zoom.
It seems to be that Skype just, I don't know what happened. They're a bit like it's a bit like Blockbuster and Netflix.
They're the blockbusters of the visual world.
Skype was the big boys, and then this company Zoom came around, and it just seems to be everyone using it.
They zoomed in. Quick as a beat. The only thing I don't like about Zoom, the intro song, no song. You just straight into
it. Genuinely, every single video call that we've had on Zoom so far has opened with us both doing that.
Before any kind of hello.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, the Skype song is classic.
Plenty of remixes online. Should you want to check them out?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So so we're not together. So we're going to do, providing this goes okay, we're going to do as many things as we can remotely. And we might end up doing that a lot more in the future anyway.
Might get sick of you a little bit.
Okay. The first week will be challenging for us, but we'll get it.
Yes, definitely. So we have visual, but the audio is not going to be as good. I always pride ourselves as a very small podcast with fairly good audio.
I would agree.
We've done lots of research into how to do that cheaply, but as for video, no research. Basically, get Zoom on.
Bosh on the record button. I've spammed the record button. No idea what I'm doing after this. Don't know where the file's going to go. Don't know anything. Just we'll see what happens. We didn't do our audio clap. Ready? That'll be fine. That'll sync our audio perfectly.
Good that we did it at different times. That makes it easier.
That'll make it much easier. So yes, Corona, pretty scary. Millions of people not doing well. Countries locked down. Economic crisis. Health emergency. Recession. Business closures. Loss of income. Police state. Let's have a bloody laugh, mate. What have you been watching? What have you been watching? What have you been doing?
I think personally that we should keep that for post-Corona as the jingle for a new section. Yeah. We used to do what we've been listening to.
Yeah.
We might have renamed it as Spotlight.
Spotlight. I like it. Shining a spotlight on the things that we have been enjoying. Okay.
Yes.
In pop culture, under the umbrella of pop culture, we've got a hell of a lot of time at the moment to spend absorbing pop culture. Kenny Beveridge, what movies have you been enjoying in this quarantine?
So I took this quarantine as a sign that from my God, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. Fine.
You've seen that surely, the meme of Obi-Wan Kenobi from episode 1. Who's he played by? I saw him in a film last night.
Liam Neeson.
That's the other one. That's Qui-Gon.
Oh yeah. Don't know.
Saw him in a film last night.
I don't remember. This isn't boding well for your movie segment, but carry on.
Him on a mantelpiece, and someone says, "Oh, I told my gran this is Jesus," and it's just him as Obi-Wan. So he's my God. I took it as a sign from Obi-Wan Kenobi to go back and watch movies that I have missed, that I never watched, older films. We both are addicts of YouTube, and one thing that I love on YouTube is the video essay on important film things, on influential directors, things like that. So the first one I went back and watched, I've got a whole list I've got through now. So I watched 12 Angry Men. Mm-hmm. It's a very old film from the 50s, but it's in black and white. Absolutely fantastic film. One of the favorite films that I've watched of this section, actually. It's about 12 men in a room discussing. They're a jury for a young boy who has allegedly killed his father, and it's just 12 men deciding if he's guilty or not guilty.
Is there a porn parody of this movie?
12 Angry Men. I hope so.
Yeah.
12 horny men.
12 horny men. 12 hangry men. They're just really hungry.
12 hung men.
12 hungry, hung in capitals. Really men. Yeah.
Hungry hung men.
12 hungry hung men from Hungary. That would be my pitch, but we're not doing tennis today.
No, but that could be one.
So do you watch a lot of black and white movies? Does it put you off a black and white movie? No.
It didn't put. I've never really seen many black and white movies at all. I've never seen Casablanca. I've never seen Gone with the Wind.
Classic movies.
Singing in the Rain was originally in black and white, was it?
I don't know. I thought
it might have been colour.
I don't know actually. I thought it
was updated to colour, but I'm not sure. Yeah. Have you seen many black and white films?
Odds and sods. Dad watches quite a lot. Bits and bobs.
You seen Citizen Kane before?
Yes, yeah, I did. I studied that very briefly in a film class.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
A lot of Hitchcock, the Hitchcocks that are in black and white. Laurel and Hardy, Chaplin. I've mainly veered into the comedy side of black and white than I have kind of feature-length films. Particular favourite black and white film, The Ghost of Mrs. Muir, about a lady that moves into a house haunted by a sea captain.
Well, that sounds great.
Very good, very sweet.
I have seen parts of The Great Dictator. I assume you've probably seen that.
Yes, of course. Classic, yeah.
Very good. Chaplin film. But yeah, so 12 Angry Men, really good. Would love to see it as a play. Because it's set in one room. They're in the courtroom and then they're in the back and that's the whole film. Great character kind of study of these men. They've all got unique. It's just brilliant, and it's one of the first. Well, it was the first one that I did in this kind of series. Another black and white one I did later on was Psycho.
Amazing, classic. Yeah.
Amazing.
Veers off a little bit, doesn't it? Veers off.
It's a weird film. I mean, the whole shower scene is really a red herring for what becomes like a mystery. It's a film of two halves, really, isn't it? I think she is killed within the first 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And it's an hour and a half, so literally. But yeah, it's so good. Yeah. Might veer into Hitchcock, maybe do Birds.
Worth a watch once. Hitchcock's something that I don't tend to revisit that often.
Yeah.
They're just good to educate yourself on how film has progressed, and obviously he was a very interesting, if not kind of disturbed guy in the way that he would treat people and attitude towards women and things in films was very. He really pushed them to the edge, which obviously gave some amazing screen performances. But there's some debate morally whether he was a bit of a creep. But nonetheless, he's directed some pretty good films. So
yeah, I mean, in a similar vein to that, I mean, I'm a big horror fan. So Psycho was an important one to go back and watch. Another very important one that I'd never seen all the way through. In a similar vein to treating women terribly, went back and watched The Shining.
Treated everyone terribly.
Which is, one of the, I mean, I watched a thing afterwards which was sort of going through facts from the film. And I think the scene where Jack Nicholson is going up the stairs and she has the bat, it was something like 120 takes or something. That's
crazy. That's torture, really.
Yeah, well, I wish I could remember her name, the actress. Still alive.
Oh, yeah.
But her hair was falling out by the end of...
this because of the stress of it. Yeah.
Amazing performance.
I'm going to Google her name right now.
Go on, yeah. But yeah, Kubrick...
Shelley Duvall.
That's it, Duvall, yeah. But yeah, The Shining, unbelievable.
Yeah, scary, eerie, amazing.
Terrifying.
Amazing. You've got to love him.
One of, if not the best horror score I've ever heard, I would say.
Wow.
I mean, just the scene of the son riding the trike, and when he's on the wood, it's incredibly loud, and then when he's on the carpet, it's dulled, and just the camera that follows him behind, and it's just terrifying.
There's so many deep dives talking of video essays on The Shining, what it means. There's plenty of ways you can go with it. You can get really bogged down in the detail and fascinating piece of work.
Yeah, very good. And I watched Doctor Sleep last night.
Was that a good successor?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
No. It was fine. It did a weird thing where they go back to the Overlook Hotel at one point, like you knew that they would, and they use parts of The Shining, but it's recast and reshot. So Jack Torrance is some other actor, and it just didn't. Yeah, it really soured it for me.
That's a shame.
Being such a so many years of lover of The Shining.
Yeah,
I found it really really offensive. To be.
I was going to go and see Doctor Sleep, but I was too tired.
There you go.
I just want plenty of jokes to come, guys. Just don't worry, we're not going to get too analytical here. Plenty of gags to come. Stick around, guys. Stick around.
So some other ones. Taxi Driver, amazing.
Classic. You talking to me?
You talking to me?
Talking to me? All improvised.
Talking to me?
Talking to me?
Yeah, I went through a De Niro binge.
Talking to me?
What else? So did another Kubrick, did Clockwork Orange.
Disturbing, but good. Yeah.
Very disturbing.
Yeah.
The scene with the eyes.
Watch that. Yeah, can't. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Here we go.
Oh, sorry.
Here we go. On set.
Oh, peak the audio.
I see the errors of my ways now, sir. Praise God.
Fine.
Love it.
Yeah, we'll call you. Thanks for your time.
And another one, Old Boy. The original, not the remake with what's his face? Rubbish one. Whenever we go live, I can never remember anyone's name.
That's part of your charm, mate. Ignorance.
Yeah, the Japanese Old Boy. I think is that a wrestler?
I think he probably is.
Yeah. Also brilliant and really influential when it comes to kind of thriller and horror.
Yeah. And stunt work.
Amazing.
But you've probably seen some bad films as well, haven't you?
It's almost as if
Apart
you
from
have
Doctor Sleep, you've probably seen some films that want to put you to sleep, haven't you?
I've seen Bad Boys for Life.
Well, it's got bad in the title, so you know what I mean. You've only got yourself to blame.
Yeah, I think the best joke, the best thing that I heard about that was, I saw Bad Boys for Life the other day. It was really bad. And someone responded to me and said, yeah, I know. I haven't seen it. But I know.
Fine. Yeah. I thought the trailer looked quite endearing, actually.
Yeah. No. Terrible.
Just not funny.
No.
The whole aging thing, it's been done.
That was it. The whole film was, hey,
you old now.
We old now, boy.
Yeah. Old boy.
Old boy. Imagine them in Old Boy.
Oh.
I'd like to put Martin Lawrence in a room for 15 years and just not have to see any of his shit films again.
Not even Big Mama's House 2.
Come on.
What else you seen then? What's bad?
Jumanji.
Oh, I didn't like Jumanji.
I loved
raved about the first one.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Second one, not good. Not good.
Recycling material.
They make a very strange decision to make one of the main characters Danny DeVito.
That is awful. That's an awful decision.
Who is about as funny as coronavirus.
Oh dear.
So, yeah. I know a lot of people like him in Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
He's normally quite funny, but I guess he wasn't, yeah.
Not good. And the last one, I saw The Invisible Man, which is her from Handmaid's Tale. And Mad Men.
No name, nameless again.
Yeah.
It's The Handmaid.
it was her tale.
Yeah.
And it was shit. It was really shit.
Okay. Just not good. Embarrassing.
Just modern. I think when you watch something like The Shining and Psycho, classic horror, and then you come forward and you watch something like The Invisible Man, and just everything There's got logical inconsistencies. I mean, not that those films don't, but they're just the tone and how the tense and the feeling of dread. And this is just, oh, I'm going to walk along. Oh, jump scare. Oh, there you go. Have another 10 minutes. Jump scare. Oh, here we go. Another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's rubbish. Modern horror. I mean, there are good modern horrors, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, well, we often watch a horror together. To some are good, some aren't. But yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know the word for it, but I know what you mean. It's sort of horror 101. It's sort of horror has gone from being this incredibly intense and claustrophobic experience to being paint by numbers. How quickly can we get them to jump? And then do a sequel. And not for everyone, but there's a strange middle ground of horror now, which is just churn it out, and we'll kind of replace narrative with jump scares, and it's a shame, really. It's a shame.
It was amazing to watch The Shining and think this is legitimately one of the scariest films I've ever seen.
The trouble is, you've set the precedent.
I've gone to, once you've seen top horror, everything is,
Yeah.
Some horrors enjoy it. Scream is great horror.
But that's because it's self-aware. That's the thing. That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's when you earnestly make a bad film and then present it as this is high art, and you go, no,
high art.
High art.
Yeah. High farts.
I googled the Invisible Man's website, but couldn't find it. Hey? Another joke there for you guys.
One of them.
Look forward to more jokes later on in the show.
So that's all I've watched a stupid amount of films.
Yeah.
What films have you watched?
Thank you. Well,
I know.
I've been ploughing through some classic comedies with Danielle, who has, as educated as she is, has perhaps missed a lot of movies in her life due to other things. So it's quite nice to go back, and I'm in a real re-watching phase, as I have been for a while, in sharing things that I like with her and other people, and then drizzling in some new things that we haven't seen. So, trying to keep our mood up, trying to keep everyone happy. A lot of classic comedies in the house. Airplane.
Okay.
Iconic.
One of my favourite comedies ever.
Hilarious, funny. There's no point explaining it because it's such a classic comedy. It's just joke after joke after joke, and has such an impact on the quotability of comedy films. You know what I mean? It's to be able to write a quote that transcends the movie and just becomes, don't call me Shirley. It's such an iconic quote from Airplane. Austin Powers, classic, silly.
One of my a lot of the jokes in Airplane are very, very quotable. But perhaps my favourite joke, you've seen it recently, so you'll know. So there's the cupboard, and it says something about is it vacuum sealed or something?
Yeah.
Does it say, and then they open it, and just a vacuum comes out and attacks them?
Yeah, I see. Was that in this one? Was that in Airplane 2? I can't remember.
Maybe.
Probably. Yeah.
But I love that.
Yeah, vacuum sealed or vacuum protected. There's so many.
Something because they're on the plane. It's something to do with
the autopilot's just a blow up pilot. I mean, it's just so. I've got a drinking problem, and he just can't drink. He just spills it down.
Yeah,
it's great.
Couple of racy things with the lady that can speak jive and that.
Some outdated cultural depictions. However, we'll let it slide.
Really funny. So it doesn't matter.
No. That Austin Powers, silly. I always like those films. Again, super quotable. Spinal Tap, one of the most important musical mockumentaries of all time. Not only
obviously
a great comedy, but a great soundtrack.
Just one of my another one of my favourite ever films.
As people that have been in bands over the years and have actually performed some Spinal Tap songs, it's so real. It's so true to life, and yet it's so surreal at the same time. It's beautifully done.
Yeah, I've actually been lucky enough, the word, to see Spinal Tap. play. I saw them play at Glastonbury, and
That's mental.
just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, so funny, just so.
Yeah.
And they can play, man. That's the thing. They
They
know
really
their
can.
strengths, and that's the thing, is that they can play, but they can write just as good. And yeah, they're so good, and very touching as well. I was just trying. I couldn't remember the name of the guy, but Christopher Guest, who's an amazing writer, an amazing comedian, and Michael McKean. They've got a real brotherly relationship on screen. But a particular poignant bit for me is when Nigel's been kicked out of the band, or he's quit the band because of Michael's girlfriend getting involved.
Yeah.
He comes backstage and says, "Play a good show," and he goes, "All right." And it's just there's so much there.
And then I love the "come on."
Yeah, come on. Oh, it's
Love it.
So touching. So yeah, a lot of classic comedies. Wayne's World again. Amazing.
Oh,
You've got the
party time.
We're not worthy. Note these down, people, if you haven't seen them. A bit more of the kind of the Judd Apatow-y kind of American-y improv-y stuff, like Knocked Up, This Is the End, 21 Jump Street, all those kind of easy popcorn comedies that are funny, and
people will judge some of those, but Knocked Up is legitimately hilarious,
really funny, and again,
and it's
moving,
super touching,
and has a really graphic depiction of childbirth in it.
Very
unexpected.
graphic.
But I do like it.
It is very unexpected, actually. Yeah, you think you're getting a comedy. Oh wait, I'm watching 24 Hours in A&E.
It's long as well. Yeah, it's good. I like an ensemble comedy when it's everyone in it is funny, and it's not just getting people in that aren't funny. Watch that. As people
Really
are
good.
aware, before all of this, we began the Disney marathon of watching every Disney animated theatrical release in order.
Give us the update.
Till the date that we go to Disney World, rather. Although, God knows what's going on with that now. We've reached Sleeping Beauty. It's about 16 or 17, I think we're on now. We're in mid 50s, late 50s.
Right.
Top 3 so far, I'll have to say.
Yeah.
Snow White, number 1. So they peaked with a number 1, a pre-war Snow White, and then they went into the war years of let's just make propaganda and cobble together not particularly congruent and not good animated shorts, and it kind of got a bit messy in the middle.
Yeah.
Germans.
And a lot of live action with animation, right?
Yeah. To some degree of success. All of those films have good bits in, but they're not solid pieces of work,
No.
Snow White, classic, and the Seven Dwarfs. Cinderella,
Yeah.
Lady and the Tramp. Lady and the Tramp, a forerunner at the moment for the best in the top 20, sort of 20 that we've watched so far. Just very enjoyable.
Lady and the Tramp's lovely.
They have made the sort of the newer version.
On Disney Plus only, right?
Yeah, I'm not into these reboot after reboot after. We've discussed it before. It just doesn't need it because it just takes it. Actually, it seems more real and authentic in the 50s version than it does in the modern version.
Yeah. So I think of the ones, so you've got Lion King. I hated.
Yeah.
Jungle Book, I really liked.
Yeah, like that.
Aladdin, I haven't seen.
No. Dumbo.
This is of the remakes. Dumbo was apparently terrible. You've seen it.
Yeah, I was in it. It was terrible.
And you were in it.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. I haven't bothered.
Yeah.
Is that all of them so far?
Yeah, I think so. They just confirmed Robin Hood. Live action animated Robin Hood.
Right.
Not needed.
I mean, there's been so many Robin Hood films.
Not needed. Yeah.
No.
I hope we get Russell Crowe back in doing his sort of American Irish Welsh accent.
Yeah.
That would be a treat because that was terrible.
The animated Robin Hood's my favourite Robin Hood still.
Classic.
It's
funny. That was my favourites as a kid. So yes,
I had it on.
Reluctant Dragon was good. We discussed that before. That was the only really good mix of live action and animation, just because it toured around the studio, and I just found that fascinating. So yeah, we're just peaking just before 20 at the moment. Some issues I found in it. Obviously, it's dated because it's going to be dated. They were made nearly 100 years ago, some of them. Racism, not going to get too into it. You know, there is some racism in there. Let's just put it out there. Song of the South is not on Disney Plus for that very reason, due to its outdated depictions of black people. It takes place on a plantation, so you get what you think you're going to get with that. Some very good acting aside, I can see why they've banned it.
Had the big song, right? Zippity Doo Dah.
Zippity Doo Dah won a Oscar or something. It won a big old award, Zippity Doo Dah, the song. And at Splash Mountain in the Disney parks, the log flume ride is based on Song of the South. And Brer Rabbit, the Brer Rabbit story, which is what Uncle Remus, the one of the lead black characters, he talks about Brer Rabbit and the rabbit that lives on the briar patch, and he's being chased by Brer Bear and Brer Fox. That is what Splash Mountain is about Brer Rabbit trying to journey.
Wow.
So it is a big part of the Disney lore that has been blacklisted. You know, so they picked the bits that weren't racist from it, basically. Actually, one that offended me probably the most, Peter Pan, iconic in its depiction of Native American people. Like what makes the red man red, and they were doing these kind of dances like that. Oh, it was difficult. It was nice.
That's not great.
It was not nice.
You know, it's. I don't think that we are of the opinion that things that what happened then should be changed. We're not.
100% no. You cannot rewrite history. Of course you can.
No.
It would be.
But it doesn't mean that it's not hard to watch.
No, it was offensive, and it did take away from it. And I'm normally very liberal, very open for whatever. But yeah, it wasn't great, which was a shame because Peter Pan obviously is iconic. Yeah, some other issues with it, sort of, you know, some forgettable songs, and you know, they're made for kids, these films. Some lack of explanation, and a lot of, you know, like Snow White suddenly it ends, and she's with the prince, everything's good. You know, things like that happen where and everything's okay again. But of course, it's Disney. That's what Disney get. You know, I've also seen a shift from them making points in movies like don't smoke in Pinocchio. You know, don't be rude, don't be selfish, don't think, don't lie, and then it's gone into. Actually, those things are cool, man. People are smoking in Peter Pan. Like, just the changing of the time, and, you know, you can really see what happened post-war as well. It was just like, actually, just do what you fucking want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see how Disney's kind of moral compass changed throughout the time, and indeed has changed again now. But yes, we're currently up to Sleeping Beauty at the moment, so we haven't quite left the 50s, but it's just a run of classics from now on. So
yeah, what's to come?
All the classics, man. Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Robin Hood. It's just bam, 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 bam. There was a big gap. There tends to be 4 or 5 year gaps sometimes between films now, whereas before it was 2 or 3 a year.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
To write and direct and to, you know, to really hone the craft, you know. So yeah, really enjoying that. Watched about 14 without Disney Plus. Got Disney Plus like everyone else in the world got Disney Plus.
I had it for a week. Yeah,
you got rid of it again, didn't you?
Got rid of it, baby.
You had a particular voiceover experience with Disney Plus.
Yeah, so I was going to mention this, wasn't I? So, I mean, Disney Plus, obviously, if I had kids or something like that, amazing. If I hadn't seen a lot of the Avengers films, I probably would have got it, but that's good news.
My virus is updated. Woohoo!
But I've seen all the Marvel films in the cinema, or have seen all the ones that I wanted. Disney films I've seen. Star Wars, I mean, I've got a Star Wars tattoo on my arm. So, you know, I've seen those films. So I thought, okay, is there any point? There was a 3-week trial. I thought, okay, let's go on it, have a look. Whoa. National Geographic.
That's changed.
Okay. I'm interested. I like a wildlife documentary as much as the next guy, maybe more. But
But
what was I watching? Wild Yellowstone. So Yellowstone National Park, a big park on that inactive volcano in America. I thought this would be great. They're doing a winter and a summer.
lovely.
Okay,
Seasonal. I like it.
get to winter, pop it on.
Mm-hmm.
Really excited.
Mm.
Welcome to Wild Yellowstone.
No.
Hold on. Hold on.
What's going on?
Then a pack of wolves are, this is right at the beginning, pack of wolves are chasing an elk. And all of a sudden, this kind of dubstep, drum and bass kind of soundtrack comes on. There's cuts everywhere. There's camera cuts. Boom, he's chasing him this way, he's chasing him that way. Right, that's it. I turned it off.
Turned it off. It
Yeah.
made a mockery of it, didn't it, of Yellowstone?
It was no David Attenborough,
No. That's a shame, isn't it?
who I
You adore
Take
David, don't you?
take my hat off to.
Day of mourning when he passes away.
So that was
watched any National Geographic on there yet.
that was my experience of
Yeah,
Disney Plus.
we did the free trial and then legged it. Well, we watched quite a few without it, but in the end, it just makes things easier. So we've dived in. So yes, continuing on that, Danielle's watched all of Hannah Montana. You'll be pleased to know. So that's done. That's been completed.
Wonderful.
I've dipped in and out of that. Miley, you can see innocent girl. What was to come?
No one knew.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I'll tell you, interesting about Miley, I watched the episode of Black Mirror
Oh yeah.
with Miley in it.
Well, she plays herself.
She plays essentially herself. She's like a squeaky clean pop artist who wants to basically start writing emo music.
Right.
And her manager doesn't want her to, so her like personality is like distilled and put into a doll that you can have at home.
Why?
And then she gets put in a coma, and then someone hooks up the doll to the computer. This mass-produced doll.
This is Annabelle. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about Annabelle.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry, I've got it's The Conjuring and Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, very similar. Very similar.
And then her personality gets unlocked from this doll, and it's actually her. And then it's very strange and shit.
Strange and shit. Crap mirror. One thing that was a treat on Disney Plus, the Imagineering story. 4 parts at the moment, going to 6. The story of the creation and completion of rides from the beginning of Disney, the original Disneyland in Anaheim, to the expansion of Disney across the globe. So the people behind the rides, the design, the colours, the experiences, everything, talking about how they come up with the ideas, how they build it, how they operate, some behind the scenes stuff, how Walt Disney was the linchpin that really held everyone together creatively. And then when he passed away, things really took a turn, and
the racism sort of stopped.
The Jew hating, that was out the window.
Really interesting.
Stuff. So that is worth a watch for people who
I did see
running a theme park.
Yeah, there was some good. There was the Pixar documentary is really good.
Yeah,
which I've seen previously, but it's brilliant. Is it something like 20 years of Pixar or something?
Okay,
it's huge. Really great. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's lots of options for people out there. You've got your Netflix, Amazons, but your Disneys have launched. Mandalorian's on there. I saw it before. So Disney Plus in the
UK. How did you see it before, mate? Illegally?
Ooh, I don't know.
Scratch your hair. That doesn't exist. Unbelievable.
But yeah, so Disney Plus didn't launch in the UK until after the US, so we've really only had it like less than a month.
Yeah, less than a month, yeah.
Yeah, Mandalorian is on there, but I think there's maybe 3 or 4 episodes on there. But yes, it's well worth a watch.
Somewhere in the world there is an Amanda Lorian. Amanda Lorian. Makes me laugh.
If Amanda Lorian is somehow watching of the 4 people that watch this, please get in touch.
Get in touch. Let me know how you do.
Please get in touch.
One more film I shall pick out before we move on to other things on screens that we've been watching. The movie Telstar. about Joe Meek, who was a kind of a pioneering producer. In fact, one of the most important producers ever. Like, he assisted in the development of overdubbing, sampling, reverb, like using the studio as an instrument, basically.
Right.
Very troubled man, a lot of mental health issues, suspected like schizophrenia and things, depression, drug addict, violent, closet homosexual at a time which was very difficult to be gay, so that caused a lot of problems with him and his personal life. But amazing producer. And this is a movie, a British-made movie. You know, I'm a big fan of Brit films, and I've got a lot of British-made kind of war films and things. There's a real homeliness to a British-made kind of film, Brit comedy especially, that I think can't really be replicated in America. It's not quite as good. It's too gooey in America. You know what I mean?
Too gooey.
It's too showy.
Too shiny. It's too shiny.
Yeah,
they're like this was a couple of days ago.
Exactly. Yeah. So the Joe Meek story is based on a play. So it's about this amazing producer that would record in like a home studio above like a leather shop, like a bag shop, shoe shop, and get people to sing in his bathroom.
So when's it set? When's this set then?
This is the 50s. This is the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Late 50s, early 60s. Because he was dead by mid 60s because he killed himself. So it was like a crazy time.
It's a comedy then.
It's comedy, but it's hard to explain it. It's got an amazing soundtrack. A lot of things you'd know. He worked with a ton of session musicians that you'll have heard of. He worked with Clem Catini, who was in the Kinks and one of the most famous studio drummers of all time. He worked with Chaz Hodges from Chaz and Dave. He worked with people from Jimi Hendrix's band. He worked with Richie Blackmore. Endless. People that were session musicians in his studio. And he was just an amazing audio pioneer, and created so many things that music wouldn't be the same without him. But he's kind of a bit of an unknown name in the music field and the kind of the audio field.
Yeah, haven't heard of him myself.
Would recommend it. Really cool, funny. A guy called Con O'Neill, who plays Joe Meek in it, it's an extraordinary performance from him. It is disturbing in its ferocity and its kind of his descent into madness and drugs, and trying to be an amazing creative genius at the same time as that. For a film that not that many people know of, I think, and it's an extraordinary performance from him amongst a good cast of other people. James Corden's in it, Ralph Little's in it, lots of people are in it. Jimmy Carr's in it, random people that you wouldn't expect.
Very British,
very British, homemade.
So what's it called? This film?
Telstar. It's named after the song that really broke him in America. I mean, he was worth a lot of money, had a lot of lawsuits against him. It was a very messy time for him, but he had a lot of top 10 hits and broke America. For a Brit producer to break America, it was pretty extraordinary in kind of 60s. Really amazing film, Telstar. I'd recommend it. Actually tweeted, Con, the guy that played Joe Meek, tweeted him to say, "Oh, amazing performance, mate." He tweets back. He put, "Oh, shucks," with a little embarrassed face.
Oh.
I was like,
how old is it?
People.
How old is this film then?
10 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A little tweet back. That was nice, because I thought, you know what? Not enough people are going to have seen this performance, and I really think they should. And he gave me a little tweet back, which was lovely. So would recommend it. So quite dark. Probably wouldn't stick it on, if you want to laugh. But good soundtrack, good story, really important acting, and an important story for people that are interested in music and the history of music, and some forgotten legends. I'm all about pushing up, elevating the people that you might not have heard of. Yeah,
a bit like us.
In a way. Forgotten legends in a way. I'll probably kill myself with a shotgun in the mid 60s.
If it got me fame, I've been thinking of doing it anyway.
I'm giving you my all. Yeah, let's end it.
Lovely.
Yes, so lots of movies, but
lots.
What else you been up to apart from movies, mate? Anything else?
Well, movies has been a lot, but as we're hugely into music as well, just pop on, listen to music at the same time, play some video games.
The double whammy.
All the time. So I have been listening to some good music as well recently. I thought I'd run through some of the latest releases that I've been listening to. So, my number one pick, and currently probably, given that people may know our 21st Century Breakdown series, where we go through the best albums and best singles of the year. Catch that on the channel. We're up to about 2004. But for this year, quite possibly, Dua Lipa's new album, Future Nostalgia.
Man, you're on about Dua Lipa, man, haven't you? You've been saying some wild accusations. Best pop song of the decade.
Yeah. There are some songs on this album that I think will age like a fine wine. And it really is. I think in pop, I mean, we like lots of genres of music. Pop probably is not the biggest one that we like, but
number one, but we appreciate it. Yeah,
we follow pop music quite closely just because it's so popular.
You're saying popular? Pop stands for popular.
Did you know pop stands for Pop-Tarts? Sponsored by Pop-Tarts.
Pop music sponsored by Pop-Tarts. Sorry.
Yeah. Of course. Obviously. What else would it be?
Talking to tarts, Dua Lipa. Sorry.
Oh, he's done her. He's done her. So is everyone else. That's the problem.
Oh, he's come back. Libelous.
Not true.
Walt Disney's going, what Lipa? What Lipa? Dua Lipa.
Jew.
Kill it.
Walt Disney's gone crazy. So for me, the last few years have been some very important pop albums.
Yeah.
And I think as you look back, you've got things like Adele. Okay, very, very important.
Ed Sheeran.
Very important.
Rihanna.
For me, the last great pop album that I heard was Bruno Mars.
Yes, Bruno's great.
Fantastic. His last album was fantastic. But Dua Lipa, Future Nostalgia is next on that list, I think.
Tell me why. Tell me why, sir.
Well, there's that big throwback 80s sound at the moment.
Really in.
Is similar and present in another album, which is the new Weekend album, which is good, very good, but not quite his new album.
It's not as hooky as Dua Lipa.
After Hours. It's not. Yeah, it's kind of like Dua Lipa's is kind of like 80s disco throwback, but also mixed with that kind of Kylie Minogue era of pop, dance pop. But mixed in with some like female empowerment of 2020, and then I mean some of the tracks are would fit very easily on like a Daft Punk album, something like that. They're very
good gap in the market there, and that's why she's one of the most streamed artists on Spotify. Period. So it's top 5.
It's like
top 5 techno-y,
dance, funky kind of. Choppy, like it. The song "Pretty Please" is probably my favorite on the album, and it kind of chops in with these bells. It's very kind of Daft Punk-esque. But obviously, "Don't Start" being that kind of massive single that came out last year with that just infectious bass line. Which has got some people on YouTube playing along to it, which is great fun as well.
Yeah. If you can get people to play along to it and it's a mainstream pop song, it's a good song.
Yeah, another thing I love about Dua Lipa and I like about Bruno Mars, and it's the drums are real. She plays with a live band.
Musicians, it makes so much difference in terms of arrangement and just a fullness of a song. It just
I think you can
better with a real band.
Yeah, you can really tell. That kind of well, it's not even recent. The current and has been, I don't even know, 10 years, maybe slightly less of trap drums and trap snares.
For me, it's uninspiring. I get why people do. Oh, it's a sick beat and that.
Yeah.
For me, you cannot replicate the feel and the bounce of a real kit. Mix them together, electronic, acoustic. Not a problem. I often do that in things that I'm writing. But you cannot replicate a real kit. You just can't.
No,
people dance to it, man. People dance to it. They just do.
Yeah. Like it's got that mix of kind of old and new, and it's incredible. I would say the album is it's almost an instant classic. It tails off towards the end. The last 3 tracks or so.
It's not a perfect pop album then.
It's not a perfect pop album.
That is a shame.
You get 6 tracks through and you think this is one of the best pop albums I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then the last 3 or 4 tracks, you think, oh, what happened?
It's the same old story, mate. They overstack albums. They're always doing it. There's too many tracks on an album. It's always the way.
Yeah. I had a little video issue there.
You all right?
We're good. We're back.
Good.
Yeah, it's not that stacked. It's only it's a fairly short album. I agree. Normally, these albums are like 18 tracks. Crazy. This one is still only it's about 11, I think. But those last few tracks really let it down. But it is probably got my favorite single of the year, and Pretty Please is incredible.
Yeah.
Check that one out especially. But yeah, things like Physical, the title track, Future Nostalgia, Levitating. I'm sure that almost all of those will be released as singles over the next year.
Yeah, she's a big single releaser, so yeah.
But yes, so amazing. The Weeknd's new album, good. Got some good singles on it. That single, Heartless, bit repetitive, but good.
Yeah.
But good.
Yeah.
You've been listening to anything? I got a few more, but what you got? Anything that you've been?
A mixture. Yeah, loads, man. I mean, I've been spending this time a bit like what you've been doing with movies. I've been filling in my album collection basically. A lot of Queen. Been filling in actual full albums or at least best of. Most albums I'll get most of. There's a few albums where I might cut 3 or 4 filler tracks. Filling in the gaps. Over the years, I've downloaded a few, I've collated a few, but I've slowly been replacing the greatest hits collection with the actual albums, which is now complete.
That's good.
Just to get the fuller picture of what the whole album is like. And singles in the context of an album are rather different sometimes, especially for a band like Queen, which was so revolutionary and so different in their approach and the songs that they have on an album, which are vastly different on a lot of albums. So some really cool album tracks in there. I couldn't name one album because there's just so many albums. I guess you could start with Night at the Opera. Obviously, a lot of people will know the singles from it, of course.
Yeah, Day at the Races, the one before as well, is
amazing.
Incredible.
A bit later on, The Works got some classics on, but
Works is great.
Every Queen album is brilliant. So listen to it, please. So
pretty much every
filling in my collections. Updating the Christmas playlist, of course. now I've had some time to myself.
It's the 17th of April.
Yeah.
And Jack Cowling is using this time to update his Christmas playlist. Legendary Christmas playlist.
8.5 hours we're on at the moment. Go on.
Not only 8.5 hours of tracks.
No.
What have you done to these tracks? You've put them in.
I've put them in an order, sir. I've put them in an order
in a mood of the day
through a Christmas day. If you want it on, you can pause it. By all means, put it on random. I'm not against it, but
I am. I'm against it.
Okay, in that case, don't.
I want your kind of movement.
Oh no! I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll hate you if you do put it on random. But the songs are good standalone songs. But we're talking everything. Of course, all the classics. All the classics are there, but they're not one after another. It's movements, mate. We're starting with some classics, like you would at a Christmas disco, but we're moving through. There might be half an hour of kind of acoustic-y singer-songwriter songs that maybe it brings you down a little bit. Maybe you're popping out, you're making a coffee, you're having a chat with your granddad. You don't want to hear Shakin' Stevens then. You want Shakin' Stevens later on. You want Shakin' Stevens post-buffet. You're happy. You've had a few cocktail sausages in you, but you're not too full. You're not too full.
Yeah, the food's gone down slightly. You don't want to shake in before that.
No. You just sit down to eat. Paul McCartney, what are you doing?
You don't want that.
No. So it's all ordered, mate. There's some hymns in there. There's some instrumental pieces in there. Little cheeky leg. Look, see a little cheeky leg on camera there. He's got his
incredible
out.
What's happened is I'm very uncomfortable because I've been sat for so long. Carry on.
Your legs are kimbo. But yes, so recent additions. Brian Setzer Orchestra. Some Brian Setzer Christmas originals, Little Jack Frost, things like that. He did a Christmas song to the theme of the Flintstones, except it's all Christmas lyrics. It's genuinely really fun. I shan't sing it now, but check it out. Some classics of some 40s sort of songs on there for Mabel Scott, like Boogie Woogie Christmas, songs that you'd know, songs that would sit well in a Christmas mall in America. You know what I mean? Those kind of songs, bit jazzy, bit cool. So always looking.
Always.
So that's nice, and yeah, similar to you, mate. Bit of pop here and there. I will, in defence of, I'm going to present my case for James Blunt.
Oh no!
I'm going to play.
Turn the podcast off.
Not every album, of course. Probably maybe 20 songs, but a particular song I've been looking at a lot from a musical perspective is a song called "Don't Give Me Those Eyes," which is a really, really well constructed pop song. He gets a bad rap, James. He's got 2 Brits, this guy, 2 Ivor Novello awards. This is serious business for songwriters. That is a dream to get that. MTV 5 Grammy Award nominations.
Yeah.
He's a wet wipe. Of course he's a wet wipe. He was in the military. Okay. So ain't that much for a wet wipe. Right? And he can write a really good pop song. And the best thing about it, he's self-aware.
Yeah.
So now I've got a selection of James Blunt quotes.
Right.
That I think might make you like him a little bit more.
I was going to bring up one that I've seen in this pandemic. You've probably got it. I'll leave you to do your quotes. Maybe I'll put it at the end if you.
Do that, I don't know if I've got that one. You do your one.
Okay. So I saw a very, very funny tweet from James Blunt recently, and it said something along the lines of, "I've noticed a lot of people have been doing bedroom and concerts recently. I'd like to put everyone's mind at ease to say that I won't be doing that," or something like that.
That's funny.
It's really funny. Really funny.
Let's get a bad rap, but because he is a bit, he's just kind of a bit easy, and some of his songs are a bit ploddy, and they are a bit. But there's some really good stuff in there from a writer perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, someone tweeted him, "James Blunt just has an annoying face and a highly irritating voice." And he replied, "And no mortgage," Can we all take a moment and remember just how terrible James Blunt was? He put, "No need, I have a new album coming soon." It's just things like that. James Blunt's face fully aggravates me, then sit on something else. It's all good.
Get him on the pod.
Yeah. There's so many things in there.
I've changed my mind on him. I love him.
Yeah, there's loads of things, but he's a funny guy. Anyway, little bit of diving into him, just because he uses rhythm and meter quite interestingly in some of his songs. That is gets a little bit overlooked. So little bit of diving into him diving into his work as well.
Nice.
What else? Have you listened to anything else? I shan't. There's a couple more things I'll talk about, but I'll pass back to you.
Yeah, I've got just a couple of singles that I have enjoyed. So the new Run the Jewels single called "Ooh La La" is very good. Really kind of old school boom bap beat. They're brilliant. Run the Jewels. Killer Mike, who's in Run the Jewels, has got a really funny show on Netflix as well. It's so funny. Yeah. He's got really quite very talented guy, very good comedic timing, and also a great rapper. Yeah. That's a great single off of their new Run the Jewels 4, their new album coming out. We listened to Catastrophist by Trivium, their new
good
album coming out 24th of April, so next week. What Dead Men Say. Matt Heafy's been, the whole time, this whole time, whenever he's not on tour, he's doing so much YouTube stuff and Twitch stuff. He's been doing loads of that stuff. But I actually have turned on that. I wasn't a massive fan of the song at the beginning, but
it was okay. It was like 4 songs put together, wasn't it?
It was really weird, yeah. Quite long. but yeah, I enjoy it now. I've listened to it a few more times. Catastrophist, that is. The other single, can't remember the name of it, not as good, but I am looking forward to the new Trivium album. There was a good remix of Bob. I've never heard of this guy. Bob Vylan, the Builder, the Polish builder.
Bob Vylan Cabinet.
He did. There was a remix of One More Day Won't Hurt by Slaves. It was like a grime remix of a Slave song.
That's cool.
It was really good. Worth checking out, especially if you like Slaves, which I do especially.
You like
then
Slaves, you pig. You were Walt Disney hanging out.
Chop that up and just
that's that. I'm going to loot that.
Send it to the Sun.
Yeah, especially
actually no,
Slaves.
Sun also likes Slaves, so it's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
And just some albums that I will be listening to that have just come out. So there's a new Strokes album called New Abnormal.
Okay.
Single, can't remember the name, wasn't particularly great.
No.
We'll check it out. Big fan of the Strokes over the years. Talked about them on.
They've made it onto the 21st Century Breakdown playlist twice, I believe. So
yeah. So they split up for years. Haven't had an album for years. This is their first album since. A new Skepta mixtape with a couple of other. I think it's with 3 or 4 other people, but worth checking out. I'm going to check it out at some point. And the last one is the new Enter Shikari album called Nothing Is True, Everything Is Possible, which
Everything is Permitted. Assassin's Creed.
No, that's probably where they got it. Probably where they.
Thieves.
And much like Assassin's Creed, very poorly reviewed. That album. Very, very poorly reviewed. But I will check it out. I'm a sucker for Enter Shikari.
You're a sucker in general, you sucker. I've seen a few musicy friends all playing along to some of the new albums. So some people.
So the new Enter Shikari album.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been along. So they've obviously got some singles or tracks or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, gonna check it out at some point. So that's gonna be in me ears at some point soon. But yeah, those are. I went through all the new releases, and those were the ones that stood out from a kind of rock, hip hop perspective, which is my bag, baby. Yeah,
my bag, baby. Yeah, I've been going through a little bit of rock and metal myself, especially Frontiers Records. I think they're an Italian label. Well, I've introduced them to you before. They represent Blue Oyster Cult, a plethora of bands that you obviously have heard of over the years. But some kind of more unheard underground, a lot of new albums being promoted from them at the moment. Difficult time to promote new bands, of course, with the climate we're in. Frontiers Records. Some really cool stuff from them, actually. Bands like Alan Olsen or The Dark Element, Revolution Saints, Harem Scarum or Harem Scarum, Canadian kind of classic rock band. Did a deep dive in them. Yeah, some really sort of, they're kind of like Bon Jovi and a lot of other hard rock bands and Thunder mixed together.
Sound a lot like Thunder. That's true. Yeah,
amazing voice. So yeah, this label is just churning out band after band after band of just.
So is it all kind of Blue Oyster? Is it all older kind of hard rock stuff, or
it's hard rock, classic rock? There's some prog in there. There's some all-out kind of death metal in there. A bit of power metal, a bit of symphonic metal. It's a real mixed bag, actually, which is refreshing for a label to take on a mixture of talent, basically. Really, really enjoyable. So I've just been sitting through there thinking who they signed, who they're promoting at the moment, and have found some pretty cool new bands, actually. So I'd recommend them. They do have a Spotify playlist of songs that are released, and also like office favourites of theirs, which you could just Google Frontiers, and it's kind of they update it kind of weekly, which is nice. So really enjoying those. Nice to see a label that's still pushing rock and metal today, and not kind of and doing it with the full force and good money behind them, instead of kind of half-assing it. So head to Italy if you want some metal. But I've been doing a deep dive before we move on into the Beach Boys.
So you've done Queen, deep dive, Christmas dive, label deep dive, fourth deep dive.
What deep dive?
You're on the beach.
I'm on the beach.
You're deep diving all over the place.
I'm surfing. Whoop! I've fallen over. I've scraped my knee. That did happen.
Surfing USA.
I mean, I was kind of getting a bit of a summary playlist ready for kind of the holiday, whatever even happens with that. Bit of a deep dive. Dad's a massive Beach Boys guy, a beachhead, if you will. I made it my mission to listen to every studio album from the Beach Boys, start to finish.
You're all about missions, aren't you? I'm going to watch every.
I like it.
Okay.
I think it's my OCD. I need to complete it.
Could be the OCD.
Yeah.
That song by the Orchestral Manoeuvres. Orchestral.
Yeah, OCD. OMD does OCD. So I've done a deep dive, about 30 albums.
Hell.
Yeah. Been trying to get the remastered because although they were pioneers in production, Brian Wilson especially, a lot of it was mono straight down the middle, and I'm all about the stereo mix, and I'm all about a remaster. I know some people say it takes away from it, okay, but something like the Beach Boys with the clarity of the harmonies, I want to hear it like I'm in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been doing a deep dive, picked a few.
Ironically, this podcast is released in mono. So what are you saying?
Oh, straight down the middle. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. But anyway.
It's ironic me lecturing people on audio quality. We're sitting here. My laptop is on a bin, you know.
Yeah.
And yours is on a suitcase.
I'm so uncomfortable. My camera's just doing this constantly. I may be comfortable again for the next 5 minutes. I'll try not to move, I promise.
But yes, Beach Boys, listen to loads. Where to start? I mean, Brian Wilson, another creative genius. It's so sad to see the way he's gone. The guy was a genius, competing with Paul McCartney the whole time, trying to beat the Beatles. They started off doing their surf rock thing, really moved through to some incredibly experimental, surrealist stuff throughout the years. That is, it's not my favourite stuff. For example, Brian Wilson's Smile. I don't really like any songs off that album, maybe apart from Our Prayer, the first song. Very kind of non-linear and crazy and experimental, and there's a lot going on with it. Amazing piece of artwork, but they kind of strayed from being a band, sort of doo-wop, pop rock, and then they kind of went into a weird experimental drug meditation phase.
Was it drugs? I mean, I don't know much about
drugs.
That.
Yeah, it was meditation, and it was hard drugs, basically.
He hung out with John Lennon for a second, and next thing
he was. But yeah,
in the fields
a lot of issues, Brian. It's just, he's just got voices in his head all the time. But he's just an incredible guy, arranger and writer. But yeah, really deep diving in, and I'd have to say, I mean, I had a rivalry with the Beatles, but it's hard to pick which one, because actually, I'll listen to more Beach Boys than I'll listen to Beatles. That's for sure.
So, do you think that the classic rivalry that people think is the rivalry, which is the Stones and the Beatles,
incorrect?
Is actually the Beatles and the Beach Boys?
Of course, it was the Stones and the Beatles. Although I would always pick Beatles. Stones, some greatest hits, fine, but I would pick Beatles. I think the Stones were just okay in my opinion. They were fine, but I think the Beatles did more for music than perhaps the Stones did.
I do love the Stones.
That, but I like them both. I think Beach Boys Beatles is a much more interesting.
I don't think the Stones got weird at any point.
Not really. They were always a bit weird. They were pretty down the line. They pretty much stayed the Stones.
Sort of. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they did. Did they go through a kind of like a crazy drug period where they were making really weird music, or
probably. Was
it really mainly just kind of bluesy rock?
That's always been their foundation, I think. But I'm a little ignorant to. I haven't done this for the Stones, for example. Perhaps I will. Yeah. Perhaps I should. But yeah, remastered stereo mixes of the album Surfer Girl, 2020, Shut Down, Pet Sounds, of course. Summer Days, Summer Nights. I'd say kind of first 10 albums of my block of really favourite Beach Boys albums, and then it kind of goes weird, and then it goes kind of back to being really poppy. The dynamic of the band changed. People died, people come in, people left. It's really just such an incredible body of work, and to hear it remastered through really good headphones or monitors is just amazing. I would recommend the movie Love and Mercy, which was about Brian Wilson and his rise to fame. Paul Dano, Elizabeth Banks, John Cusack. Have you seen Love and Mercy?
No, but I've heard about it. Does someone play an old Brian Wilson?
It's the timeline. So Paul Dano is young, and then John Cusack is Brian when he's under the control of Eugene Landy, who was his kind of psychologist, psychotherapist, who essentially lived in 24 hours with Brian and drugged the shit out of him, and was a really dark influence on his life. So it affected his creative output quite a lot.
Right.
And they actually had to sue him because Eugene got a lot of credits on a lot of Brian songs that he didn't write. He was just kind of in the studio. And he would do sick things like drug Brian and then say, if you write 2 songs today, I'll give you a milkshake. 6 weird stuff like that. Like, it was not good. Brian was very close to death, really. But I mean, luckily the state, I think, legally got Eugene out of there. But Love and Mercy details all of that. So yeah, the 2 timelines, the young and the old, interspersed together about the rivalry with the McCartney and drugs and sex and death. And of course, I think it was Dennis Wilson that was really good mates with Charles Manson in California. And
yeah, there is that connection, isn't there?
Yeah,
with the Beach
I think it was Dennis. It might have been Carl. It might have been Carl. They let him stay in their house, and they covered a Charles Manson song on one of their albums.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of strange. I mean, they weren't involved, of course, but there was some. There was some moral dilemma for Beach Boys fans when they found out they were all mates with Charles Manson. But there we are. So I've done a deep dive, and I thought I'd pick a few good songs. Be nice to hear them remastered. Listen to everything they'd ever done, including Brian's solo work, which there's some lovely stuff in there as well.
Wow.
There's a song, Lay Down Burden by Brian Wilson, which is a beautiful song about his brother passing away. Really beautiful song. But all the songs you know and love are obviously the best ones, but there's some amazing album cuts in there as well. And really nice to listen to a band like that I've always had the greatest hits, like Queen, always had the greatest hits. You know, it's nice to deep dive, get all of the albums, really go, actually, let's absorb all of this, and there's more to them than just a greatest hits, you know. That's been put me in a good mood for the summer. However, it's absolutely pissing down here, so
it's all right here. It's blue skies. Pop on some Beach
Boys.
Stay inside.
Beach Boys. Oh, I've done this. That wasn't good, was it? One thing that wasn't good, before we'll move on, because this is going very long already, is Nightwish have a new album called Human Nature 2 or Human 2 Nature.
Did we start at 4 o'clock and it's now 5:30?
Yes.
Wow.
Fuck it. Boys.
Majority of the pod to go yet.
Yeah, well, we could cut it in half. We could cut it in half. Possibly.
Maybe.
I mean, should we discuss that live on air? Nightwish's new album, terrible. I'm a proprietor. I'm a proponent of a Finnish band. We know. I like some of that.
You love a Finnish band?
What's your problem? What's your beef? I like sitting in saunas with other men eating some fish. Nothing wrong with that. It's not good. It's not good at all. I've moved through with them. I didn't like their first few albums. I didn't like the pseudo-opera thing. Ooh, rubbish. Then they've got Annette, who was a good vocalist. She kind of made it a bit poppy. They got rid of her. They've got a woman in called Floor. She's a really good singer. Powerhouse female vocals. Last album, Endless Form was Most Beautiful. Really good album. We saw them live. Really good live. This album, it's all folky and weird. And the last 6 tracks, just orchestral music. Just pieces of instrumental music. Oh, you're not a composer. I think Thomas, the guy who kind of writes a lot of it, he really thinks of himself as being a premier composer of like the 21st century. You're not. Stick to the metal, mate. You're really good. Lord of the Rings, metal, put them together. I'd buy that album. Not a problem. Oh, it's messy. 3 singles. Noise, the lead single, is probably the best single on the album. 2 or 3 others are okay. The rest of it is just messy. It's like they've really messed with the structure, verse, chorus, etc. The structure's gone awry, which I admire them for doing so. But for me, it doesn't work. It's messy. It's self-indulgent at its worst, where it's like, let's put some more violins on it. It's like it doesn't make it a good song. It just doesn't
More
make it a good
violins,
song.
please.
So maybe 3 songs on it are okay. Noise is a good one. Though it's not the opener. Actually, the opener is like the history of music, and it has nothing to do with that. It's terrible. Noise is probably the best song on the album, but messy. So I was disappointed by that, mate. So on the one hand, I got Brian Wilson's beautiful harmonies, and I got Nightwish just shitting on my chest.
You've been let down by the Finns.
Messed around. Yeah.
I didn't think the Finns would ever let you down.
I've been let down like a little balloon. Boop.
Well, that's the music that we've got through. What else are you doing? Anything else to recommend?
TV, it's just been easy stuff. I just listened to the audio car share. Don't know if you've heard that yet.
I've not heard it yet.
It's fun. It would be better visually, but it's really fun for half an hour. We love car share. I've said we rewatched it recently. Peter Kay, John Gibson. It's just so funny and so touching. That was good.
So they did an audio only
episode.
Episode. How many years after the finale? I mean, we're talking 5.
Oh no, less than that, wasn't it? 3, 2 or 3.
Oh, was it? Yeah, maybe.
Possibly, not sure. Really sweet. Yeah, it's about them in their relationship now, so it's not like they've broken up or anything crazy. It's what you want from it, which is lovely. So, watch that. Loads of YouTube, like you said, deep diving, gameplays, streaming services of getting all my money. You know,
all of it.
Although they've reduced the quality, haven't they? Because so many people are on streaming sites.
Yeah,
they've actually reduced the quality. But the thing that I think is funny is we're watching daily Prime Minister's briefings, aren't we, on TV?
Yeah.
And you know what? After 2 weeks, that was like I'm in the war. The Queen's giving me a speech.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks in, I'm going, turn it off, love. It's boring, isn't it? They ain't saying anything new.
They ain't saying nothing. Yeah. So we're doing a virtual pub quiz coming up at the weekend that we're going to be doing with some friends. But my partner did one last week, and one of the questions, it was TV was her round, and whilst looking into sort of TV facts that we could do questions on, the most watched TV broadcast of this year is the first Prime Minister's briefing, and it topped, was it 20 million? Topped 20 million?
Probably. I was stuck to the screen, you know, just awaiting what the hell's going on. It's a real amazing time in history to be alive, and you know, thankfully we're healthy. But it is funny, I think, that within a fortnight I've got bored of it now. I'm turning it off.
Yeah. Should we pop it on? Nah, fuck it.
Disney.
Nothing's going to be said.
Disney.
Yeah, the first few days I was, love, it's 5 o'clock. Get the bloody briefing on.
Yeah. Shh. Listen. Shh. Yeah. The clap. You've been doing the clap.
Yeah, we've been doing the clap. Yeah, have you been doing the clap?
I've done 2 claps. The first 2, forgot.
So you did one. You did one last month.
Did one yesterday. Did one the week before. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done them. We've done them all because, you know, I respect people that work on the front line of the NHS.
All right, mate. What have you done? How many masks have you sewn?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. You could use your beard as a mask, couldn't you?
If I popped it up. What have I been doing? I have. So YouTube wise, Jonathan Pye, who does that kind of like spoof, angry reporter kind of.
Yeah, he's good, funny.
Comedian guy. He's been doing an isolation series on YouTube, which have been hilarious. All about him kind of drinking, wearing a shirt and tie, but boxers, and at the end of the meeting he gets up and walks off, and just really, really good comedy. They're about 10 minutes long. I think there's 4 now. He's done 1 a week. He's been been really good, and I've looked forward to his new episodes. He's just very funny. It's political humor and things like that, but a lot of it you don't have to necessarily agree with
It's
everything
just
he says.
satire. Yeah, it's just a new way of presenting satire, really, isn't it? It's
He really is one of the best satirists, I would say, at the moment. There's a good. So I've watched The Sopranos, one of my favorite TV shows ever, and the actors that play Chris Moltisanti and Bobby Bacala, they were doing a live tour, a speaking tour called. I think it might be the name of their podcast that they now do. So they started a podcast I think they were going to do anyway, but they were doing a live. So it's called Talking Sopranos, and they are going to go through each episode of The Sopranos and basically read kind of stories of the episode and talk about, stories from the road and things like that, and get guests on and people that have been on. Obviously, some have unfortunately passed away, but that they're going to get who they can. At the moment, they're doing it apart, but they were going to do a tour. Hopefully that will happen. They were coming to Nottingham actually, so I was thinking of going.
No, really?
Yeah, and so they're going to go through each episode, and it's really good. It's called Talking Sopranos. So anyone who's interested in the behind the scenes of a HBO show that was like the biggest show on earth at one point.
Sopranos.
But yeah, that is. I play a lot of video games.
Yeah, you've been gaming, haven't you? Yeah.
I finally got Death Stranding.
Nice. Is it living up to the hype?
It is. I absolutely love it.
Good.
I can understand why people would have found it very boring.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just a masterpiece. It's an absolute masterpiece. It says a lot about, especially in this time, it's all about connecting America after it's been through this, whatever the terrible event was. So you're going through, you're rebuilding roads, you're taking medicines to people, a lot of people joked that it was like Amazon delivery.
Amazon, the video game.
2047 or something. And it is. But somehow, it works. It's
playing
so...
Jeff Bezos.
Yes. Yeah. I look a bit like him with the hair.
Doing you? You got his money though, didn't you?
No, give me some. But yeah, Death Stranding, Hideo Kojima, just genius, and it's a lot of fun.
Video Kojima, because he makes video games.
That's just some more of the top quality content coming from here as we approach an hour 40.
I know, might have to wrap it up soon, mightn't we? What else have I watched? It's been mainly boring TV, a bit Gogglebox, Bake Off, little silly things. I've been doing the films and the Disney so much that I haven't really watched that much TV. I watched a good a 4-part costume drama actually called Lost in Austin. I'm not a big costume drama guy, but it's very funny. It's about a woman who...
We don't talk about costume dramas on this podcast.
She dreams about Jane Austen and all these kind of novels, Pride and Prejudice and such. And then she opens her cupboard one day. She walks in. She's in the novel.
Talking more about that. Those Brian Jones drugs.
She's living out the novel, but of course it's all gone tits up because she shouldn't be there. So the people that are meant to be together, they're not together anymore because she's fucked it up. So she's like, oh no, I've got to make what happen. I've got to make it happen. And of course, butterfly effect. It's all gone wrong, and she can't get home again. So she ends up taking the place of the literary character that should be there in Elizabeth, and it kind of goes from there. But actually, really funny, quirky, really good cast. It's actually quite pretty good. So we enjoyed that. YouTube, same as you, loads of YouTube. Some games, still playing the Assassin's Creed games. On the Assassin's Creed 3 remaster, it's full of glitches. I will complain about that at a later date. It's a mess.
Absolutely. Even now.
Mess. It is.
After a remaster, still a mess.
It's a mess. No one's mouth moves at the right time. I fell through the floor. the horse can't jump properly. There's people walking through you in cutscenes. They killed the water graphics. It's such a shame because they are what they are, and they're Ubisoft. It's all about the money with them. And I'm playing Odyssey at the same time, which is like the other end, which is like, oh, Greece looks amazing, but there's no story at all. I'm got Ubisoft have ground me into the floor a little bit, actually.
Yeah, you're a sucker for those games because you love them so much, but they get you.
Yeah, the Ezio trilogy were just, for me, I just love them. But
10 years now, maybe, is it?
Yeah, no, I'm still hanging on. I'm still hanging on.
Really are.
I need to cut them out.
Yeah.
Possible Viking game they're going to do next, they said. But you've lost me. You've lost me.
Everyone has for years wanted Imperial China, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, they did a brief spin-off, I think, in China, but there was a Chinese character involved in one of the short films they did around the game releases, but it never went really any further than that I know.
It was a PS Vita game that they did.
Right, yes.
In China, but I think it was a side-scrolling game. I think.
Yes. Yeah.
They did 3. They did China. Is it Russia?
I don't know.
No,
I'm not sure.
I can't remember the other 2.
Yeah, they released in the remaster. They've released Liberation, which was a Vita game in New Orleans. That's made it onto the remaster, which I've never played.
Yeah, spin off of the American history one.
So that would be fun. It is fun, but you can take it and leave it. You know what I mean? So we've been doing that. Might get to you before. Might get Sniper Elite 4. Looks kind of fun. I like the slow motion kills. As brutal as it is, seeing exactly what body part the bullet hits is macabre. It's very greatest.
Absolutely.
Looks really fun. Yeah, so a bit of Xbox here and there, a bit of films here and there. We've just been absorbing screens, really, haven't we, mate? We've been going for some walks. I've been going for some walks around the area. We're lucky that we've both got parks and gardens quite near us. So, it's been nice getting some sunshine. Important to get out and get sunshine and all this because you've got to get your vitamin D in, especially if you want to stay strong.
Yeah. Everyone, as much as social distancing has to happen, you've got to get out there and use the time as effectively as possible. I think if you can find a patch of sun, just out in the car park, out in the anywhere, just soak it up for a second and take a minute, take a book, take a phone, just sit there for 10 minutes. I found the other
more than 10 minutes because you will get shot by the police.
The saddest moment, not saddest, but it's sad in a way. I found a wonderful amount of kind of feeling taking the bin out the other day. I don't think I'd left the house for like 3 days. I took the bin out and I walked outside and the kind of wind hit me. I was like, oh, I'm outside. Just taking the bin out. What a sad.
Taking the bin out or pulling a wheelie, eh?
Eh?
Pulling a wheelie. You don't have a wheelie bin there, do you?
No.
You put it in a big communal bin. Our communal bin's overflowing because they haven't come and picked it up.
In Windsor, of all places.
In Windsor, of all places. Thank you, Queenie, for nothing.
Thank you. So, I think we're going to have to do 2 parts.
I think we're going to have to do 2 parts, haven't we? We have discussed what the hell is going on in the world right now. We've given you some statistics, okay? We've talked about how it impacts us, how it impacts the podcast. We've talked about the movies we've enjoyed, the TV we've enjoyed, the games we've enjoyed. We've gone a very long time.
What we've done is for the plan. So peel back the curtain. So the episode notes for this episode were it was 3 pages long, of which the 3rd page was about half full, and so far we have got through 1 page and 3 sentences.
Too much to bloody say, these guys, aren't they?
I think we should end off. Anything else we're watching? Any more recommendations? And then next time in part 2, we will talk about things that some celebrities have been doing.
Yeah, what are other people
doing? We've got a little chat about the only sports that are happening or sports entertainment. So there's some UFC and some wrestling chat, which will be interesting. Comparison of the 2 companies, WWE being, frankly in a disgusting state at the moment.
Yeah.
And Dana White desperately trying to get UFC fight cards to go, so we can talk about that for a little bit. We're going to do some predictions and some jokes, but originally planned for this episode, but there's no way we can we'll be about 4 hours if we carry on.
It's going to go too long, isn't it? So we'll do a part 2, providing this works out okay in the coming days.
Yeah.
Do we end with something funny? Because I feel like we saved all the funny bits for the second part.
Yeah, all right. Do some jokes.
We do a couple of jokes. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 jokes.
Yeah, all right.
Jack's joke of the week.
All the jingles are going to.
All the jingles will not.
We'll see. They might be in. They might not be. We'll see. We've never done videos.
Jingle. Fine. Rang up my local cinema. I said, "Can I see Spider-Man: Far From Home?" He said, "You can see it wherever you want, mate." Oh, brilliant.
If you are going to watch Spider-Man, you watch it at home and continue with social distancing.
Thank you. Just stay safe, protect the NHS, save lives. Stay NHS, protect the home, save the home. I don't know what that means.
What I'd like is for someone to save the Spider-Man franchise, because Far From Home was dog shit.
Fine. Little addition to the joke there, not a problem. I sold my Basil brush puppet on eBay, but never sent it. 0 fox given. I sold my Spanish vigilante themed Basil brush on eBay, and I did send it. 0 fox given. I like that one. What can we do? One more.
That's good.
Oh, I don't know. I thought transcendental meant Bruce Jenner coming over and looking at me gums. There we are. Little bit of blue for the dads at the end there. I'll save the next 3 for next time.
Yeah, so jokes-wise, you have spent this time...
I have spent... Well, we'll talk about what we've been doing creatively, I suppose, next time. But yeah, I've done some writing.
You've done some... You've gone through a hell of a joke bucket.
I've delved in the bucket, baby. 10,000 words just over at the moment of gags, jokes, ideas, skits, and
things you've written over the years.
Yeah, so combined it all. So craziness, isn't it, mate? Some of the things.
You're all about undertaking things that are just way too big to undertake. I'm going to watch every Disney film. I'm going to just listen to every Beach Boys song.
I know. And it's crazy, isn't it? And
of Joe.
And yeah, I complete it. So hero. Don't want to say hero.
I don't know which. On my screen, you're above me. So
yeah, you're above me.
Here, I think it might be this guy, or it might be this guy. Either way,
the perils of visuals. Who knows? Yeah. But we've had a good time. We've talked at length. Part 2 will be more funny stuff. I guess, where can people find us, mate?
Well, we are available on... I haven't done this for a while because we've been in social isolation. We're available on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on Spotify, on iTunes, on the Big Heads Media website, which will now be on the pop culture section, as people know. We've changed the podcast slightly to pop culture.
Pop culture.
That's everywhere that people can listen. Yeah. Where can they engage, Jack?
So they can engage us, or get engaged to us, which seems to be happening a lot at the moment, which is confusing me. Facebook, Rock and Roll Up Podcast. Instagram, Rock and Roll Up Podcast. Twitter, Rock Roll Up Pod. We will reply to all of those things. We're desperate to climb the hill to 2,000 followers on Twitter, so do join us there, as it tends to fluctuate, where all the bots disappear every couple of days. Yeah, we're always available for a chat and a chin wag. We are also on Patreon if you want to support us in this time. No pressure, but this guy doesn't have a job, so he really needs the money. Let's face it.
Yeah. Please help. Please.
If you made it this far, let us know what you make of the visual aid. That sounds
What's it like?
An awful.
What's it like seeing us? I don't know how I feel about it. Never mind.
I'm doing things on my eyebrows I'm not comfortable with. I'm really exposing my own insecurities doing this. and it was already bad. So you know, what we lack on the audio, we make up for in visual sort of, you know, anxiety. So
yeah, I'm quite worried that at some point in this, everyone saw my leg.
I saw it and I liked it.
Well, you're a kind man, but I'm not sure. I think that the trolls are going to be after me.
They're going to be out in force. Yeah.
Look at this man's leg.
This man's leg. YouTube will ban that, demonetize that straight away.
Too sexy. I get it.
But there we go. Well, we've made it to the end of part 1 of our isolation episodes. Meant to be the beginning of season 2 around this time, but this is sort of a weird middle ground now.
Who knows what's going to happen?
Don't know what's going to happen, but stay safe. Protect the ones that you love. And, you know, send some love our way because we need it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Just send love out. Someone who you haven't spoke to for a while, someone who maybe you think I haven't spoke to them for a while, just send them a text. Yeah. Do it. If there's anything from this, send the people you love a message, and that's us.
Send us your money.
Yeah.
Stay home, protect the NHS, save our financial lives. Okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that how we end?
That's how we end, baby. Any final words to the people out there?
Yeah, big time, yeah. What? Yeah.
Peace out, guys. I've been Jack.
I've been Kenny.
See you in part 2. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. And we're going to end the session. Please, Lord, export this properly. Goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Take care now.